listeners, are you trying to make bigger profits in your small business? Like many of us, I'm sure you're feeling it. Business is hard, and now more than ever, you need to have a plan to help your business not just survive, but thrive. I'm Marcia. I'm a business growth strategist on a mission. I've helped tons of small business owners to establish and implement a tangible plan that guarantees increased profitability, guides your growth, and plans for your future exit. Because business worth selling is also a business worth owning. I want to share some of these strategies that I've earned and learned with you on today's Profit with a Plan podcast. But before we get started, I have something really great to share with you. I've got 5 ways to turn your business into one worth selling. So go pick that up. It's for free on my website at trajectorybiz, that's biz.com. So my guest today is Eric Seropyan. Eric is the owner of My South Bay. It is a digital marketing agency located in the South Bay region of LA here. And his agency specializes in helping small to mid-sized businesses gain exposure online with a variety of digital marketing strategies. He focuses on driving traffic to his clients' websites utilizing the power of search engines and optimizing websites to be ranked organically. You know, guys, this is the best way to do it. And he calls this practice search engine optimization. So, Eric, I'm so excited to have you on Profit with a Plan. Welcome.
Thank you, Marcia. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's start with the beginning. People fear search, trying to put their ranking and get on there. Explain that to us in a very simple term.
Sure. So what it is there are search engines out there like the big ones, Google, Bing, Yahoo, etc. That when a user is searching for something, they go to the search box and they type in what they're looking for. And so you have the search engine results page that comes up. Usually at the top 2 or 3 are what is called sponsored, where the advertiser is purchasing that real estate. And at the bottom of the page, the bottom 2 or 3 are sponsored. The middle of the page there's 10 on a page that are organically listed there. You cannot buy placement for that. Google is not selling that real estate on their website. So that's precious for a small to mid-sized business to be ranked on that list. And there's 10 on a page, as far back as you want to go. Usually people don't go past the second or third page in their searches. So what you want to do is you want to rank for that. The process of getting ranked for that is called search engine optimization. You're optimizing to get listed on those search results.
Wow. Thank you. That was very well put and super important because I don't think everybody realizes that those first 3 or even the last couple are paid advertising. And, the consumer doesn't necessarily know that. They often click right there on it. And those are pretty expensive to get, right? When you start trying to buy your way onto Google, I'm sure that can be quite expensive.
It's expensive, and every day it's getting more expensive as more companies are looking to enter the digital marketing field. You're getting more and more competition. So it's good to spend some money on Google Ads depending on your budget. But what you want to do is you want to create an online community through your social media to have people come to your website and subscribe to your email list, to be able to have some work that you've done to get optimized for search engines. You kind of want to go in a direction where, eventually you're going to have your own following. You're going to have traffic coming in from Google, the free traffic, as opposed to constantly buying. Click today could be $5 and maybe next year could be $7 and 10 years later could be whatever. So you want to get in sooner than later, because Google and most of the search engines out there, for the organic campaigns, it rewards consistency. So if you spin up a site tomorrow, it's not like you're going to get ranked and get traffic from the search engines 2 days later. It's just not how it works.
That's really important because the basics is you want people to find you online, right? And that's where you're going to want to be ranked so people can find you. There are reasons, though, that you're going to come in organically and go out to your own list. But let me ask you a question here. When you are ranking on that first or second page, what are they looking for? What is it that Google looks for inside of your website to put you on that page?
Sure, that's a good question. And if we can take a step back and figure out, what makes Google happy, then we can reverse engineer what to do. Nice. And so Google's entire purpose is to create the best possible user experience for the user. They've always felt like the advertisers will find them if they're able to deliver traffic to the advertisers. So what it's trying to do is it's trying to give a good user experience. For example, if you go to Google and you search for something, and then from Google, you click and you go from Google to that website. And let's say it takes 10 seconds to load that page. You get frustrated and you go back and you don't even remember the website you went to. You just remember that Google referred them to you. So you have a bad user experience. Now, the more bad experiences you have as a user, you're going to look to other search engines to see if you could get a better user experience. That's why Google is always making sure that, when you go to a page, when they refer you to a website, the load time is good. You don't have these pop-ups that come up that back in the day, it almost like freeze your website sometimes, with all these pages that would pop up. You would go to abc.com and it would take you to xyz.com, it would go to a different page. Practices like that are frowned upon by Google. So if we understand that, then we can play within the parameters of what Google is trying to do and kind of work the campaign that way. Because you have websites, you have websites where you go to the website and then there are broken links everywhere. The navigation isn't good. You go down the funnel and then you want to go back a couple of pages and the pages are expired. Things like this where you feel like, okay, let me just get out of this website and go to another website in my search for what I'm looking for.
Gotcha. So you use the word Google a lot, which we all know it's a verb out there, or is it a noun, whatever. It's a common used term. But are the other sites like Bing and what were some of the other ones that you mentioned? Are they all using the same kind of methodology?
Absolutely. It's a similar, they're following Google. Google's the big one out there. Most of the searches are going through Google. And so they're trying to keep up with Google because there have been many other search engines that have come and gone before Google. And they were more advertiser centric. And they always were like, okay, let me get the advertisers in, let's get the money in, then we'll do. But they weren't giving the best user experience. So the users kept leaving them. And so like when you go to Google and you type in a keyword, let's say you're in real estate, and you type in real estate agent or commercial real estate broker or whatever keyword you're going for, and you want to get a search result where it comes up in your neighborhood, because if you're a real estate agent in Los Angeles and someone is searching for a real estate agent in Seattle, it really does them no good.
Sure.
And so again, I'm going to use the same phrase. It's not a good user experience. So Google is trying to figure out by going into your back end of your site, spidering and crawling your website, figuring out what you do, where you're located, and whether you're an expert on the field, in the field. So that's why it's constantly testing to see, what your site is about, how it's doing, and it has certain metrics to kind of guesstimate whether they want to rank you or not, and at what position they want to rank you.
Love it. Love it. This is great education, Eric. I mean, this is just what listeners need to know about because it's almost a foreign language when someone comes to you and says, oh, search engine optimization. And you're going, wait a minute, what is that? And what do I have to do? And what I did today, is that still going to be good tomorrow? Or do I have to change everything up again? Because, there's just so much going on. But let me ask you a question. So you brought up search words, keywords. How do we find out the right keywords that our customer is going to be typing in when searching for us?
Sure. So there's a free tool offered by Google. It's called Keyword Planner, Google Keyword Planner.
Like it.
I use some other tools that do a deeper dive into it, but there's a monthly fee to these apps. SEMrush, Ahrefs, Moz, SpyFu, there's plenty of them out there. So generally what we do is when we're consulting a client or when we're onboarding a client, we start with two things. We start with taking a look at where the website is ranked for right now, getting an idea of what keywords the business would love to rank for that they're not ranked for. Or it could be that they're ranked number 80 for a particular keyword and they'd like to be on the top 10 because it's a very important keyword and it would convert very well. There are tools where you can put in the website address and it'll give you a list of keywords that are ranked. It'll say for this keyword, you rank number 1. It gets about 300 searches a month and gives certain metrics. So you can kind of take a look and strategize based on those statistics and those reports.
Good. So there's a method to it. It's not a
absolutely.
random, oh, here's the word that I like, but it's here's the word that actually people are thinking about when they're trying to find you or
Exactly.
you'd like them to find you.
Exactly. So, awesome. We want to know what the business owner wants to rank for also. But sometimes there's so many variations of it, of a particular business and their keywords that, we're looking for keywords that have a higher search volume, lower competition level for that keyword, and extremely relevant. We don't want to waste our time optimizing and going through all the trouble of getting ranked for a particular keyword where the profit margin is low or they don't want that business anyway. We want something that when we get those keywords ranked and we start getting that traffic coming in from Google, that it's almost like a game changer for their business to have that happen.
Awesome.
And so the second thing that we do is we do a competitor analysis for the keywords. So we ask our clients to give us at least 5, at the most 20 direct competitors. So we do that same exercise where we run a report and see which keywords their competitors are ranked for, those keywords, what's the search volume, etc. So we put together the report and we present it to our client. And we say, this month, let's lock in on 10 keywords that we're going to start to optimize for. Whatever the number is, 2 keywords, 50 keywords, whatever it is. And so that way, because a lot of times when we ask for keywords from the clients, we get very broad search terms, like one word. Like back in the day, I used to own a jewelry company, and we went after the word jewelry, or we went after the keyword gold.
Right.
And that doesn't work because with jewelry are you selling your jewelry? Are you buying? Are you repairing? Are you appraising? If it's jewelry, is it a watch? Is it a necklace? Is it an engagement ring? A wedding? There's so many things that even when you rank, it's not going to convert anyway. You're going to get a lot of traffic that comes in. And then after that, it's for nothing. And to rank on the top 10 for the keyword jewelry is next to impossible for a small business, given that there's Tiffany's and Cartier and these beasts of the industry that have been there for such a long time. And so the goal is to go after the longer tail keywords, maybe 3 words or 5-6 word keyword phrases. Let's say I'll stick to the example of jewelry. If it was men's platinum diamond comfort fit wedding band. Now that keyword phrase might get 200 searches a month, but if you optimize for it and you have that item, you're going to have a much higher rate of conversion. So you can go after those keywords that are, people are searching for, as opposed to, trying to go after jewelry. So we use those examples with clients where we can say, okay, your competitors are ranked for these keywords. And are these relevant? Would you be happy to be ranked for these keywords? Yes, no, like they mark off on the report. And we know which keywords to target. So at that point, we've done a keyword analysis on their website. We've asked them what keywords work for them. And then we've done a competitor keyword analysis. And we have a good idea which keywords to target at that point.
Wow. That's really detailed and so important to see what your competitors are doing and doing those long tail keywords, because that makes total sense now. Is it just a keyword that you put it in, or are those keywords embedded in your website somewhere?
So what happens is, let's say you are targeting a particular keyword. Let's say, for example, mechanic Los Angeles. So if you don't have that keyword on your website, you're not going to get optimized. So Google, when it goes in, when the robots go in and spider and crawl your site, your pages need to be tagged correctly. The descriptions, the meta tags, the alt tags, everything needs to be laid out. So Google goes in a split second and leaves. So it needs to understand what every page is about, where you're located, what are your services that you're offering, and you have your categories and you have your subcategories, and then you need to make it clear to a robot what it is that you are offering as a business to the public. And so if you are targeting a particular keyword and that keyword is not mentioned anywhere on the website, and you don't have any landing pages of talking about that keyword, you don't have blog posts, videos, links from other websites linking to that landing page, and so on, it's going to be difficult to get ranked for that keyword.
That makes sense. I remember years ago that they would have at the bottom of your first page, all those words at the bottom of the page, that made no sense. It would have every city that was ever done and every keyword you could ever have on there. But that's not what Google's looking for. It sounds like they're looking for what the page is, what the information is on there, your categories and subcategories, which is pretty technical, but it sounds like it's really important in the setup. And not just the words that you're saying in your web page, but it's also the structure and setup of it, right?
Exactly. And, it's pretty straightforward once you get into it and you understand it, because it's a robot. It's trying to understand what it is that your business is about. And that example that you gave of having all these things at the bottom of the page, these are things that in time Google, changes its algorithm. And then marketers try to get around Google, and they do these practices where there's something called keyword stuffing, where they'll say the same keyword over and over and over again on a page. It could be that there's 500 words on the page, and they have that keyword maybe 300 times.
Wow!
So, and sometimes they would do cloaking, or they would do different things where you don't even see the text, but it's there in the white background, and only Google can read it when it spiders it. So there are things that people do to get around Google, but you are not going to fool Google. You may fool them for a short amount of time, but SEO is something that you need to build as you go. And if you're constantly trying to get almost like that sugar rush for a month or 3 months where you get that traffic, and then Google takes you and penalizes you and puts you aside for some time, that is not where the profits of SEO lies. It's today I have 10 reviews. A year from now on Yelp and Google, I'm going to have 50 reviews. 2 years later, I'm going to have 100. I'm going to have links coming in. My social media is going to grow. Everything is growing in a consistent way that when you look back, you realize, okay, if a competitor comes into my marketplace and they just break into it, it's not like they're going to overtake me overnight, because I have all of this effort. I've been creating all these things, this synergy online, and then feeding Google, and Google is putting it on their search engine. And, there's this relationship between your company and Google. And it's difficult for somebody just to come in, build a site overnight, and then go and compete with you. That just doesn't happen.
I like that. The longevity of it. It's that relationship. And because Google is showcasing you, right? You're asking them to rank you, right? So that's a showcase. You want to do what they ask. You want to show that consistency and fresh stuff on your website all the time, and videos and pertinent and relevant information. I think that this is a long walk. It's a long play, a long journey. You're doing a marathon, not the sprint, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
because it's a big deal for Google. When you search for something, the search results come up and your website is there. It's kind of like Google is playing matchmaker and saying, hey, user, it would be nice if you met this website, because I think what you're looking for, they offer it, and you should meet. And it's making that, it's bridging the two parties together. it's almost signing off or vouching for the relationship there. And
Nice.
so it sits back and it watches to see how the relationship is going. One of the main ways that it does that is there's a tool called Google Analytics. Mm. If your audience, they have a website and they don't have this, it's a free tool. Every website should have it. It's something that shows where the traffic is coming in from to your business, geographically, or from what platform, what kind of device they're using, times of day that they came in, all kinds of data. Like if they came in from a cell phone, what kind of cell phone was it? Was it an iPhone? Was it a Samsung? It'll give you all kinds of data that you can almost drown in sometimes. It's almost too much, but it's good to have too much so you can kind of pick and choose the data that you want.
Right.
And so the thing that Google looks at is, for example, if I had today 100 visitors to my website, and let's say 98 of them stayed for 3 seconds and they left. So Google's going to look at that and think, okay, this is not a good website for this keyword that I've ranked them for. Right. Inversely, if I have a website and I had 100 visitors that came in from Google and 98 of them stayed for a minute or more, then Google is going to think, okay, this keyword is a good match with this website. Let me take that keyword from number 7, let me rank them at number 3, and let me sprinkle in a couple more keywords that I see are relevant to this website. Let's see how that goes. So it's constantly checking to see if the users are staying, because in a way, the users are voting, because if they come and they leave, that means that signals to Google that, okay, this website, I went, Google, you referred me to this website. I went there. I hated it. I left in 2-3 seconds. So it's almost like an unofficial vote. Right. And so Google is watching that, making sure that, the user is having a good experience. That's why when we take a look with Google Analytics, we see the top landing pages where users are coming in from to our client's site. And sometimes it's a broken link. Sometimes the website that landing page could be better if we're losing a lot of traffic from there. Mm-hmm. So it's a very good tool to look to make sure that, we're able to keep people on the website for as long as they want to be. Obviously, different industries, if it's a newspaper or news outlet kind of a website, people are going to sit there and read the article for a long time and maybe go to another. If it's a restaurant or something else, maybe they're just going to check the hours, check the menu real quick. It could be a shorter visit. So it differs industry by industry. So Google is making comparisons to that website's competitors.
Got it. Wow. Okay. So it sounds like this is, it's once you have the recipe dialed in and you kind of know what's going on, how often should you be tweaking your SEO and making sure that it's on track? Is that something that's required monthly, quarterly, annually, daily? How often should you be doing this?
Well, it depends how aggressive you want to be with the campaign. So generally,
we all want more business, right? So, mm-hmm. Until I'm saying, whoa, turn it off, I can't take any more. I think that's a gimme that we're all doing it to get more business.
It's funny you say
and
that.
Recognition.
It's funny you say that because last week I actually got a call from a client saying, can you turn off the SEO? We're just overrun. No, there's no way to, and I don't want to kill off the pages.
Hire
that's going to ruin.
Hire more people.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Wow. What a problem to have, right? When you're so darn busy that, you have to hire more. That's what you bought SEO, and that's what you have the website for and you're in business for is that growth, that trajectory, right? Is taking that business to the next level. I love to hear that you got a client that says, turn it off.
That was an interesting conversation to have. But to answer your question, there's the first part where you want to make sure that your website is something that is appealing to Google. And I don't mean the color scheme or something like that. We want to make sure that the website is, like we talked about, we don't have any broken links. We don't have any bad user experiences. The load time is good, everything like that. So that can be checked on, let's say, monthly. Okay, because sometimes things happen. You upload.
I uploaded something and it broke, right?
Yes, you have a plugin. Yeah, we all have that experience. So that's like maybe a monthly just to take a look at your analytics to make sure that things are functioning properly, maybe run a test on the back end of the site and things like that. As far as getting optimized, it's something that every time that you create content, it pings Google.
Oh.
So you always are getting Google's, hey, Google, come spider my site. I have something new, kind of a thing.
Love it.
So the more often you do it, I suggest, once a week is a good number just to kind of stay in front of Google. Now you want to be more aggressive. You're going to need to do more content creation. You're going to need to get more reviews. You're going to need to do more link building, videos. There's ways to scale it. But if you want to just kind of get things moving in the right direction, I would say as far as content creation goes, for a month, spaced out kind of evenly, and then to take that content and put it on your social media. One of the metrics that Google looks at is your social media campaign.
Really?
So if you look at, let's say, for example, last month I had 90 followers on my social media. This month I have 100. Next month I have 110.
Right.
People are liking, sharing, commenting, following. That signals to Google that, this company is kind of going in the right direction. It's not the only metric. There are a bunch of things that they're looking at. But
so for clarity, you post it on your website, but you share it on social media. So you're not taking it and posting it on social media and with a link to come back to your website, or are you? You can
do either way, and you can see if people are actually clicking from your social media to come back to your website.
Gotcha.
So, something that I always run into, because I have people saying, well, I decided to lean into my social media, so I don't have a budget to do SEO. The thing is, if you're creating content for your search engine, for your social media campaign, you can take that content and recycle it and use it for your SEO campaign. It's not completely different content. So if you're going through the trouble of trying to get Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram's attention, might as well get the attention of Google also with that same content. So people kind of think like they had to choose and they chose this. And that's kind of a mistake. Google is looking at your social media, so I never suggest to leave social media. But there's this beast here called Google, Yahoo, and Bing. And usually when you're searching on a search engine, you're towards the end of the funnel. You are actively searching to make a decision. Like, where am I going to go tonight for a restaurant? Or my car broke down, where am I going to take it to? And things like that. You're searching to make a decision. And so you're at the end of the funnel, your decision funnel. So it's very important to stay in front of Google and try to get that traffic coming in from Google for people that are actively searching for what you have to offer.
Love it. Love it. See, I never realized that the two were connected, and I have so many friends and clients that say, oh, I'm just going to do, my website's good. Now I'm going to focus on social, but they're not linking it back. And they're not doing the same thing because Google is a social beast as well, right?
Absolutely.
And then you've got the YouTubes that are search engines doing the same thing. So it's like, wow, it's okay. So I'm overwhelmed. And I know I shouldn't be. And I'm sure my listeners are going, wow, that's a lot to do on a regular basis. How do we hire? And what should we expect when we're hiring somebody such as yourself to do that kind of work for us? Because honestly, listeners, don't do your own social media. I mean, yeah, post and stuff. But I mean, this is like, you shouldn't be doing your own accounting either. You need to have the professional do this, or you're going to end up in that vortex and not doing business, right? Your job is to bring in customers and fulfill on them. Let someone else do this lane for you. How does that work? How do we pick somebody?
Well, first of all, it's a budget issue. There are people, I've had clients where they're like, I can spend this much, and it's, a significant amount of money that they want to spend because they want to hit it aggressively. Right. And there are other businesses that, they kind of want to put their toe in and kind of feel their way around. They've been burned in the past, or they've heard stories and things like that. So I always try to set some kind of an expectation of what to expect. We run campaigns. We have some clients in healthcare where literally we just charge for the phone calls that we deliver. So, for example, we set up a call tracking app. We tie it to the website. So if somebody comes in from a SEO campaign that we're doing, it'll show a different phone number. If they come in from a different campaign that we're doing, it'll show a different number. So, but they're all leading to the same landline, the same cell phone. It's just when you're working with
you're tracking it
with these platforms, because it could be that that doctor's office, they've been in business for 20 years. They already have traffic coming to their website. So we're not getting credit for what they're already doing. What we're bringing is different. And so we have projects like that depending on the project. So that way we know that, hey, this month we sent you, 20 phone calls, 5 form fills, and here's what we did. There are other things that, we run at the end of each month, we run SEO reports from a third party to show where we are with our campaigns. So it could be that we were ranked for, let's say, 100 keywords on Google in the top 100. And next month we're at 105. And last month we were at 90. So we're able to show which keywords we're ranked for, how many keywords, how many in the top 3, how many in the top 10. And that way the user, the client can see, the Google Analytics, you can see how many visitors came into the site and things like that. Our job is to deliver the traffic and the phone calls and the form fills. What they do after that, whether the price is too high or their customer service isn't good or the product or service is not good, that's kind of out of our hands. But if we can deliver the traffic, then our part of the relationship is good.
I love it. And you know what? I mean, marketing and SEO optimization is marketing. It's generating leads and traffic in there. We business owners think that that's a black hole because we come in and we say, oh, I'm gonna expect 10 new clients each month from my marketing campaign. And it takes them 3 months and they haven't gotten any on it. And they don't know what you're doing. And it's this like, I'm just giving you money, but I'm not seeing results yet. So I know that marketing has this kind of used car salesman, reputation that is wrong. But I mean, I love the way that you've set expectations. You're setting here, you're giving reports to show these are the things that happened on here, and this is how it's going to lead to business. And I don't know if you coach the customers to make sure that when they do get that form filled out or they do have the phone call, that there is something that this business is doing to turn that into a client or not. Absolutely. But I mean, it just it is such a black hole that from our side, from the business owner side that we see, and it's so nice and refreshing to hear that you're going to follow up with metrics and you're going to show us what you did and how it was working and what you should be doing to convert that, right?
Yeah. Awesome. I have pre-COVID, I used to, and after COVID, hopefully, fingers crossed, once we get through this, there's a school. It's called Orange County Search Engine Academy in the Orange County part of Los Angeles, where I would teach classes on search engine optimization. And so most of the people, the students that came through, it's pretty intense because they would get together, 1 week out of every 8, get together students that wanted to learn about it. And for 5 days, 8 to 10 hours a day, going over 1,000 slides in those 5 days, just almost learning a language. Now, the overwhelming majority of the students were not there to learn how to be a digital marketer. They were there because they owned a business and they got tired of, trying somebody in India and somebody in Texas and, their next door neighbor's daughter. Their next door neighbor's daughter, is good at computers or good at Facebook uploads or whatever. They got sick and tired of it, and they know that the future lies in digital marketing. Mm. And so they came in to learn how to read the reports, to understand what upsets Google, what makes Google happy, what do we need to do. And so they would shell out some money and set aside a week out of their life to figure it out. And then after that, they're going to go out and hire a digital marketer. in-house or consultant or whatever. So this is something that's important, that it cannot be overlooked. Whether you hand it over to somebody or they have more time than they have money, sometimes they'll do it themselves in the beginning until they get things rolling.
Right. That makes sense because, you have to, as leaders, as business owners, you need to understand the basics of the language. So when you're hiring someone or when your employee is doing it, you're there to lead them and have a little quality control, right? And fact checking on what they're talking about. And you can't just throw money at a problem and hope it works out. You've got to have a little bit of understanding. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go in like, okay, your car needs oil, right? It needs oil, and every 3 months you got to replace the oil on it. That doesn't mean you have to go in and do it yourself. It just means you have to understand. And I think that's a great tool to teach business owners about the SEO strategies and the pieces that need to be in play so that they can guide their employees and their contractors to do what is necessary to get their business to the next level. So this is exactly what we needed. And Eric, you gave us some really fantastic foundational tools on SEO and why we all need to have it, because remember the yellow book, right? The phone book, you'd flip through and look for the guy that you wanted. That's not existing anymore. It's all online. It's all on our phone, and people are searching. And so you have to be prepared, business owners, to be listed and ranked so people can find you. And that's exactly what Eric has been talking about today. So Eric, where can listeners find out more about you, maybe even this program and what you have to offer?
Sure. They could go to my website, thisismysouthbay.com. I've grown up in the South Bay area of Los Angeles. I live there. I use almost the website as a case study for small business owners that are looking to do local digital marketing campaigns. We do, obviously, statewide, nationwide. We have some clients out of the country also, depending on your SEO campaign. So if they go to my website, they could book a 15-minute consultation if they have any questions on SEO strategies, if they want to run some reports on their website to see where they're ranked or where their competitors are ranked, or keyword analysis, or if they have any questions, they could go click on book now and book a 15 minutes free consultation there.
Love it. Thank you. That's super valuable. And I know we all need that because we got to get out of that black hole of, I'm just going to exist, or I'm going to keep trying putting the square peg into the round hole and hope it works. Planning in business involves every aspect of it, and lead generation and clients coming to you. Where are they going to find you? And I think the number one place is they're typing into Google your keyword and search. So I mean, that's step number one. I think it's so important. But this has been awesome, Eric. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Listeners, I hope you found an idea or two to put into your business that will help you become more profitable. I know that this is this is so important for every business to at least have the presence online so people can find you. And just Eric sounds like he's, I'm going to book that 15-minute call. Okay. So now more than ever, along with everything else, it's so important to have your own profit plan. And don't forget to pick up my 5 ways to turn your business into one worth selling right now. Go to my website, trajectorybiz, that's biz.com. And Eric and I would love to hear your questions or ideas or comments, what your experience is with social media or SEO and everything on how to combine it. Eric and I will both be online. So just hit us up with your comments. And hey, don't forget to subscribe so you can catch next week's show as well. And as always, you can catch Profit with a Plan on any of your favorite podcast players. And we're looking forward to more great profitable information on next week's show. So until then, make your plans and profit with them. Thanks so much, Eric.
Thank you.